Rasaimase. Welcome. So I thought about doing this video because I had just released a video this morning on the study stack, and then I sat down to focus on my study plan for today. And that study plan called for me to spend some time in my lesson that I'm taking through Smile Nihongo Academy. I strongly recommend Yuko Sensei. She has a lot of free videos out on the web, so you can get a feel for her instruction style. The way she uses graphics works well for me in my learning style. But anyway, I was going to work on this lesson today. How do I make te form? And te form is a form of verb conjugation. And again, I think I've mentioned that you can focus just on the conversational side, or you could take a broader view of learning the Japanese language. And in addition to learning pronunciation, building your vocabulary, you have an opportunity to learn the grammar rules. But I will warn you that, OMG, I can't do it. You sometimes have, or at least I sometimes have those moments. And I think that was my issue about a year and a half ago when I started to learn Japanese. Now I get it. And like all things, if I spend time with it and I'm persistent, I will learn it. But here's what I wanted to kind of share with you today, and that is where a couple of things where Grok can help me and how I leverage Grok. So basically, I asked Grok, I said, it is my understanding from the Smile Nihongo Japanese 4 te form masterclass, lesson 2, how to make te form. When working with U-verbs, there are 5 types of te form depending on the final letter in the plain form. In this lesson, Yuko Sensei provided a table with the following breakdown for final letter. Do you have a similar breakdown or related information? And then Grok responds, yes, you're right. She breaks down U-verbs into 5 groups based on the final syllable of the dictionary plain form. So a word will have a plain form or dictionary, and then it has other forms. And we won't go into that. Also, he says, here's a clean, organized table for my Anki deck. He knows one of the tools that I use is a open source software called Genki, and it enables me to build decks of flashcards, and so he's aware of that. But basically, the te form rules for U-verbs. Again, there are 3 types of verbs that I'm aware of at this point. There's the RU verbs, there's the U verbs, and then there's the irregular verbs. Now, again, it's not important necessarily that you understand this information. Again, I'm just trying to give you some input on when you make a decision to learn Japanese. If you're just going to focus purely on conversational, you're not going to deal with this type of information. You're not going to be down in the plumbing, the infrastructure level of the language, the grammar, and those type of things. You're going to focus on memorization of sayings and things like that. For instance, if you use Pimsleur, which Lori has been using, however, she has now sat down. She's starting to learn hiragana. She's starting to learn katakana. She's going to be taking some Yuko Sensei Smile Nihongo Academy courses because while she was using Pimsleur and she's pretty far along, I think she completed the whole level 1, she didn't understand why the words were the way they were. And part of that reason is because she didn't have the foundational view of the grammar rules. And so I made the decision early on after having used Pimsleur for a little bit, and there was another app that I used a bit, that I wanted to learn the infrastructure level. So today in my class on TEF form, it was one of those moments where you might say, oh my, I can't do this. This is really complicated. 5 categories of verb conjugation for you verbs. But it's like anything else. You sit down, you relax, you stay calm, and you just start to go over the material. And now I am going to build my own table that I can then use in a flashcard deck to reinforce memorization of these 5 forms of verb conjugation for the you verbs. And and also just to show you how Grok can be of assistance, or whether that be Gemini or Claude or whatever your favorite AI tool might be, you'll see here Grok gave me information, but he included kanji. He knows that, or I don't know if Grok's a he or she, Grok knows that I'm learning kanji. Grok doesn't know yet how far along I am with kanji. So then I asked Grok, can you provide the table above, which is exactly what I was hoping for this time, without the kanji. And then within 3 seconds, I have the table without the kanji. So what I'm really trying to share here is to give you some perspective of, okay, you want to learn Japanese. Okay, you have to make a decision. Do you just focus on the conversational side? Or do you take a broader view, a broader deep dive of the underlying infrastructure that the language is built upon? Do you dive into the grammar points and all those things? That takes a lot more effort, but I made the decision in the long run, it will better set me up for just not memorizing what maybe a Pimsleur taught me. It will enable me to build my own sentences using the vocabulary that I have and ensure that I'm using proper conjugation of the verbs in a sentence. So that was my decision. And now we have a situation where Lori just went the Pimsleur road, but now she feels she needs to come back. She needs to spend time on the writing systems, kanji and, hiragana and katakana. And then she will start to dig into some of the information that Smile Nihongo Academy has that'll give her a broader view of the grammar rules as part of the Japanese language. So anyway, I wasn't sure what this lesson was going to involve. This is lesson 2 in Japanese 4. And so now the process of me just even speaking about this in the video is putting this information in front of me, and then as I transcribe this into a chart and make the chart similar to what Grok has provided, I took a snapshot and so I have this preserved, but then I will build my own table in a deck, and in the process of building my own table, it'll reinforce what is being presented to me as one step in the memorization process. And then I will take what's presented here and in my table, and then I will distill that down to individual flashcards for each of the 5 categories of you verbs. And then I go through that flashcard deck. I score which ones I don't know. I score which ones I do know. And then the Genki tool is smart enough to know, okay, I don't know that, or that took me too long to answer that. This one, it was easy, so that it doesn't have to present. I think they call this spaced repetition. It doesn't have to present that slide to me as often. It needs to present the ones that I have more trouble with more often. It's a great little system. I'll do a video on Anki and that going down the road, but yeah, right off the bat today, te form rules for you verb, 5 different categories based upon the ending of the plain or dictionary form of the verb. But that is just the way it is with the Japanese language. And for me, that's part of what makes it fun. It's like a puzzle. And, you know, I'm not going to master this by the end of today, but I'm going to build it into my flashcard deck, and I'll be reviewing it over time repeatedly to continue to reinforce this information here so that I can have it in my memory and be able to recall it when I'm working with a verb like nomu, which is drink, and I want to use it in a sentence, and I also have another verb in the sentence, so one of the verbs has to be in te form and those type of things. So that's what I am trying to accomplish here. I just don't want to be limited to a conversational app that if, you know, I know how to say something, not quite sure why I'm saying those words and those type of things. I want to understand the underlying reasons for the words that I need to use to properly communicate in Japanese with other Japanese speakers. So, all right, if you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And I need to get back to my studies. So we'll just close this out by saying dewa, ja mata. And that's well then, see you next time. Or see you later. Has multiple meanings. Okay, thanks for dropping in. Have a great day.